This is the 15 Scat Pack. Today I'm going to go over some of the things I love and some of the things I dislike about it. So I'll do a walk around and then we'll jump right into the things I dislike. So we'll start off in the front. The first thing I don't like is a lot of the dealerships go ahead and put the front license plate on and they have to drill these holes. And the only way to get it fixed is to get it painted or to put these little plugs in. And it just makes it look ugly. I'll end up painting these white or getting it painted, but it's a pain in the butt. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they'd just leave them alone and let the owners decide what they want to do. But that's one thing. I guess the next thing would be the Brembo brakes. So they cause a lot of dust and squeak real bad. I just cleaned mine not too long ago, but it gets pretty rough. I guess the next thing would be the black around the tail lights right here. It scratches super easy, and wish they would have did like a matte or something a little better than that. I'll probably end up putting vinyl there and taking the Dodge off. Factory tire size is another problem. 245 45 20s. I went ahead and put 275 40s on, and it still doesn't look very well. Quality control on the paint's not very good from the factory. I mean, there's things in the paint, like right there. I don't know if you can see it. There's stuff like that all over the car. Probably the last thing on the exterior I don't like is probably the badging. The Scat Pack is sold as an RT, but it's powered by SRT, so we get a lot of hate from SRT guys saying these aren't SRTs, which they're not. But I mean, you get the motor, the brakes, and everything else, minus I don't know what the SRTs have. Maybe a little better suspension than SRT pages. But for the price difference, why not just do this? Some of the things I love on the outside, I mean, it's beautiful. They couldn't have did a better job resurrecting muscle cars. I think they look great. They've looked great since they came out in 08. A little refresh every now and then, but only the real Mopar guys can notice what has changed. Just blacked out, looks great. The fact that you can pull these out like the Hellcats and get fresh air is pretty sweet. You can do it on both sides. I just did it on one. The wheels, I love the wheels on these. The paint is, besides, factory flaws, I mean, it looks great. It looks mean. Excuse my mess, but here's the inside. It is a 6-speed manual. So I guess the first thing that I'll say that I don't like about the Challenger is the blind spot. It is horrible. When you're driving, you cannot tell if anyone is right there at all. And the rear window is really short in these, especially with how high the seat headrest is. But the next thing I really don't like is how much slop is in the shifter from the factory. And it's definitely been a learning curve with this car, getting back into a manual. I'm used to driving big trucks, so this was an experience, but I've got it down. And the other thing I don't like is the parking brake. If you can tell, whenever your foot is rested when you're at cruising speed and you need to put it neutral, it gets in the way. I wish it would have been up here or something different than that. And it doesn't match the other pedals either, so it kind of looks out of place and it just gets in the way. The next thing I really don't care for, but I do like it. I just think it could be improved, which I think for the newer models it has improved. How slow it is to get into performance pages. So this is how long it takes. And then it takes time to go through the menu, especially if you're trying to use this on the track. I mean, you're going to be sitting there for a little bit. The other thing is when you can get in to connect your phone, it takes forever for it to finally find your device. I had a 14 RAM, and as soon as I got in it, turned the key on, it synced to my phone immediately. And in this, not so much. So another thing I've noticed is sometimes the air doesn't always come on whenever you're rolling the knob. I've had that problem where you'll be sitting here for about 30 seconds and it will not come on. Also, if you're changing from air to heat, I've had the problem where it won't switch over. I've had to pull over, kill the car, and do it that way. So I guess we'll move on to things I like. This car has 485 horsepower, and I love every bit of that. To be able to get in a car that weighs this much and have so much fun is pretty impressive. You have, of course, your live readout, which tells you your power. You have G-force, all that stuff. Here's my best times, and I've only had the car for probably a month now, and I'm still trying to figure out best way to launch it. So if any of you guys know a good way to launch a manual scatpack, just let me know in the comments. But not too bad. You also have your stuff here, which is this is how I have mine set up. Vehicle info, goes through all that stuff. You have your performance, top speed, 0 to 60, all this. Which I usually end up just doing the current right here, and it just shows all that in one spot. That way you can watch there after you're done. It does have lap timers, lap history. I think that's pretty cool for if you're doing any road courses or anything cool like that. Average miles per gallon. I'm surprised it's that good for how much I give this thing hell. Trip info, audio. So pretty much on all of this, I just use the speedometer and performance, if I ever use the performance. The gauges in this thing look awesome. I think they look a lot better than the Charger. And I'm a Charger guy at heart. If you can't tell, I have it branded on me. Let's see. I love how it's centered around the driver, the Challenger is. I mean, it's all pointed towards you, just like it was in 71. Let's see. Oh, another thing I don't like is this chrome around here. You can tell that it started chipping on me. I think that looks real bad. So if any of you guys know any way to fix that or anything I can do there, just let me know. The room in this thing, I mean, it's not too bad. It's better than any Camaro or Mustang that I've ever been in. Headroom is absolutely great. I am 6 foot and I have 5 or so inches above my head. And the seats in this thing are absolutely great. I got the cloth, easy to take care of. I mean, look great. When you're sitting here, I'm 6 foot, and when you scoot the seat all the way back, I mean, I have so much room still. So I think that's nice. Another thing I don't like is the Alpine stereo. I mean, it rattles. It sounds pretty bad. And I guess the last thing that I would really like to touch on is everybody gives these things hell about how they handle. I've had this car for a little while now, and I really think that this thing handles really well for the size and the weight. I really can't complain about it. For something that weighs this much, I mean, it handles pretty good, and it hugs the road. Another thing I don't like is the placement of the cup holders is garbage. When you have a manual, you can't put anything here because it gets in the way. I mean, this is where your arm sets. So I usually make my fiance put hers over there. I'll put mine here. That way I gotta sit awkward like this. But I guess the pros outweigh the cons in this situation because I have a 485 horsepower boat, pretty much, that's a lot of fun. So thank you guys for watching. This, I hope, is a little different than the other videos people make about these cars, about things they hate and dislike. This thing's fun. If you have the money to buy one, do it. You won't regret it. I love this thing 10 times more than I loved my single cab Ram. I love it more than my 06 Charger RT. It's night and day difference, and you have to experience if you're a Mopar guy. Thank you, and have a good one.